Yo, this is GrindFace and the therapist, man. I'm Dimitrius.
And this is Saniyyah.
We've been together for 28 years, married for 23, 22, but who's counting? This is episode 11, man. We talking about compromising. And a lot of times people feel like you a sucker if you compromise. You know what I'm saying? You're not holding your ground. You're a punk. But it's a beautiful thing when both parties compromise. Saniyyah, start us off with compromising.
I think just what you said, sometimes people think you're a punk. I think that's two different conversations. There's a difference between being passive and compromising. I think if you're being passive, you're doing things at the expense of yourself, you know, but when you're compromising, I think that's done from a healthy standpoint or a
You're
healthy
not being,
mindset.
yeah, it's like you're not being selfish. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? You're taking in consideration of the other person, your spouse, of what they enjoy doing. Like, okay, you might not enjoy doing that, but if they enjoy it, you know what I'm saying? It's compromise and go out with them. You never know. You might be open to new things that you didn't know you like because you're going somewhere that you wouldn't go, which would result in something beautiful, you know? In
hmm
some places, you probably be pissed, but hey, it's part of compromising. But what about if it's like one sided? If your spouse ain't never want to do anything you want to do, it's always about them do what I want to do. You think that will like build a relationship or tear down?
You don't even have to ask me that question. You could have just elaborated on why you think it'll tear a relationship up instead of asking me.
Well, you know, but people don't know. You always like it's people listening that don't know how this will tear your relationship down.
Last podcast, when I was asking you questions, you said I was interrogating you. So,
Okay, but look,
so you can answer the question yourself.
the result. This is how it could tear your relationship down.
Thank you.
If one person is always doing what the other person is doing, they not enjoying life. It's all about them and the activities they want to do, the events they want to go to, and it becomes one sided. So the other person will become bitter, I believe.
Yeah, I mean, touche. I don't have anything to add on to that because I agree. But I think you can compromise in things outside of a relation. Well, out of a marriage too, or a relationship. It could be a friendship. Well, I guess that's still a relationship. It could be at work. It could be sometimes compromising can be taking the high road too.
Like, what do you mean? Like at a work argument or something, walking
Not even
away from an
work. Just it
argument,
could be
like.
a disagreement with anyone, and the other person is wrong. But instead of basically going back and forth, you could just take the high road by, I mean, it may be a silent compromise. The compromise may be that you're not just going to engage and walk away.
I don't know
Yeah,
about
that's not
not
necessarily a
compromise.
compromise.
Yeah,
I think a
yeah.
compromise is a mutual agreement,
I
huh?
think that's yeah. It's like
Yeah, that's
yeah.
true.
You was
Compromise is
reaching.
yeah.
She's
I'm not
reaching.
reaching. I was processing as I was talking, but I guess that wouldn't be a compromise because it would be a mutual understanding.
Because I don't know this. What's
But does it have to
what's
be?
the proper definition of compromising? Because even like, is it like giving up something from yourself? You're giving up your self enjoyment to
No, so a
smooth.
compromise is an agreement or a settlement of a dispute that is reached by each side making concessions. So it's a mutual agreement.
Okay, so
It has to be two people agreeing
okay.
to
So
something.
yeah, so that wouldn't fit in that scenario you just threw out
That's
there.
what I just said. And I gave you the definition before reading it.
Okay, so the bright side of compromising, in my opinion, is like some things we as a people we so stuck in our habits and what we like and what this is what we gonna do. But when you compromise with somebody else, you get to see other things that you normally won't try. You know what I'm saying? Like say let's go like a restaurant. Like I love McDonald's, but
You do not love McDonald's. So is that
this
an
is
example?
yes, it's an example. You
Oh,
just hear nothing I just said.
you don't even
I
like
said
McDonald's.
this like say I love McDonald's, but my spouse is enjoying Thai food. I'm so in love with McDonald's. I would never try Thai food, but me going compromising. Let me try it, and then bam, this shit is good. You know what I'm saying? It's something you would never try, but since you're compromising and going out your box, sometimes it's a good thing because you expanding your horizon. I feel like.
I'm trying to think if it's something that I've ever compromised that you wanted to do that I end up enjoying.
I still trying to get you to the gun range.
That's the only thing
You know
I
what I'm
haven't
saying?
done. That's like the only thing I haven't done. But most of the stuff you do, I would do it anyways.
Not anyways. You won't wake up like, hey, I'm about to go do this.
Like what?
If I'm doing it, you
Like
might
what?
go fishing. You ain't.
Okay, you
You would
never.
go. You would go, but you ain't gonna wake up and go by
But
yourself.
that's okay.
This
You
is what I'm
hold on.
saying. Of
But listen, I've never been fishing with you. If you never asked me to go fishing and fishing, that may be one thing that I probably would say no and I wouldn't want to do. But besides that, that's the only thing you kind of caught me off guard because that's
yeah,
the
yeah.
only one thing that you could say that you would do that I wouldn't want to do. Like if you went
Nah,
and said you want
me.
to get on your ATV in the morning, I would do that. If you said most of the stuff, let's go paintballing, I would do most of the stuff you want to do. I already would do.
So I just need to go find some stuff that's extreme that you won't do, huh? So
I
you,
think I'm
because
more
apparently
extreme.
you ain't compromising then, because you gonna do it anyways.
Pretty much. Like I think you would have to more compromise with
No,
stuff I like
this
to
is
do.
what it irritates me, that I feel like you don't compromising. When I get a car riding with the sunroof open and letting the sun just beam down on me, I enjoy doing that.
You're messing up
And,
my hair. Depends on the
you
hairstyle.
always complaining about the sun.
No, it depends on the hairstyle. I don't want my hair just blowing all over my face. It depends on, and you need to be mindful of that. As my husband, like, oh, or at least like get a hat or do it when I have some braid or something like that. Because no, that's annoying. Nobody wants their hair just blowing all around. It's irritating. So you should compromise or give me a heads up because I don't mind throwing on a hat.
Okay, you know what I'm saying? But
I mean, but that's not an activity.
it is driving down the coast with the wind blowing and the
We
sun
are not on the
shining.
coast.
Like,
We are
you know
on
what I'm
the regular
saying?
streets.
No, sometimes when we go out, like, come on now. But yeah. So I think compromising is a good thing. So even with the let's say let's take it to work as compromising on the job site, like mutual agreement of workloads. You know what I'm saying? Like somebody feel like it's not my job to do this, but I'm gonna be a team player and help out. And most people feel like when you're on the job, shit, this is not my duty. I'm not gonna do it.
People like that annoy me though.
You know what I'm saying? It's like it's
The
not a
people that
team.
consciously think this is not my job description.
Yeah. So it's like they don't have it's because I feel like when you don't compromise, you're a selfish person. What do you think? You think not
Absolutely. In
compromising
life,
it,
but in life you have to this is the thing. People compromise every day. They just don't know they do.
like what? What's the unconscious compromise that you
Mm,
do every day without you knowing you compromising? I say go to work. A lot of people don't want to go to work, but you go to work because you want that
and that's
check.
a compromise.
You
It's
know
a
what I'm saying?
mutually agreement. You show up, I pay you. So it's a mutual understanding. Let's say but I mean, it is a compromise, but people probably wouldn't see it as a compromise because you have to work to survive. But let me think. Because people do with laws, you know, laws that are implemented, you're compromising. We don't always want to agree to the
Oh yeah,
laws.
because
I don't always want to go
speeding,
to the
speed
speed
limit.
limit, but I have to compromise because I don't want a ticket, right? And so you compromise every day when you really think about it. I'm gonna walk in the store and get some food. I don't want to pay for it. Right? That's a
So
compromise.
it's easier for a person to compromise unconsciously than compromising to build their relationship.
I think the difference is people feel like they're being forced to compromise, which in reality you're not, because everything is freedom of choice, right? I don't have to go to speed limit, but I compromise because I don't want to pay a ticket. I don't have to go into the store and pay for it. I could steal it, but I compromise it because there's a consequence.
Because,
Hold on, but I don't think people understand there's a consequence with not compromising within relationships in life.
yes, because it's not. I'm on. It is a consequence, but they don't think it could come so fast.
I don't think that it
You know what I'm
doesn't. No, I don't
saying?
think people don't think that it can come so fast. I don't think people disregard it completely because they don't think it's a consequence. Like no one is saying if you don't do this, this is the results of this. Like I know if I speed, I may get a ticket. I know if I walk in the store and
Because you
steal, can I please
yeah,
finish
but
this a
that
thought?
consequence is right there.
But can I finish
You're
a
going to
thought?
jail as soon as it happens.
No, because most people that go in there and steal, they don't think they're going to get caught right away. When a person speeds, they don't think, oh, they look around and see the police is not
But when
around.
you get caught, the consequence
Can I
effects right there,
complete
right now.
my
Well, you're
thoughts?
going a long way. Come on
Because
now.
goodness, I thought I was impatient, man. So what I'm saying is there is a consequence, but because it's not written, like this is a written law or written rule in the relationship, I don't feel like I have to compromise because I don't believe there's a consequence.
I disagree because I feel like people they get in line because they know that going to jail is like bam right happening. Like so in
But
relationships,
not
you could get
necessarily.
away with doing shit because
You
sometimes
can get away with driving.
that consequence gonna be like 10 years later.
Which
You
one?
know what I'm saying? So it's like
Which consequence? With the relationship?
relationship wise, while you doing stuff in your relationship, and if not, you know what I'm saying, that person that consequence could come 10 years later. Like damn,
But
you
that
that.
consequence
But
can come
when you
today.
stealing and speeding, that once you get pulled over, you going to jail type shit, getting the ticket. That's
I
what I'm saying. So that's
disagree.
why
I
people be more
disagree. No,
easier to do that because the
I
consequence is
did.
faster.
If that's the case, most people wouldn't walk. People are known boosters, Mitch, which means they go in the store and steal stuff every day because they do not
The
believe that
fear
they
of
will
getting
get
caught.
caught. Yeah, they
Exactly.
don't think they'll get caught.
Exactly. Because they don't feel like they're getting caught. But
That's
when
like
you
a
in a
cheater. A cheater doesn't
it,
think they always gonna get caught.
but okay, let's say you're not compromising. Your spouse is telling you, "Babe, come on, man. Why you don't want to come?" She's already addressing you. So in your mind, you already getting caught because she already addressing the issue. Like, but you feel like this consequence ain't shit. I ain't gonna go. I ain't gonna do what you want to do. Whatever. She keep bringing it up, but the consequence don't come until years later after she really get fed
No,
up.
I just
You know what I'm saying? Like
no,
I'm
because
tired. It's like
some people. This is what you're assuming. Some people they one and done. You do it right then and there. There's the consequence. So you got to know who you're dealing with. Everybody is not 2 year, 10 years later. It's right now. There's a consequence, and even if it doesn't, the relationship doesn't break up. It's still micro consequences where maybe they're not talking to you. Maybe they're disconnected. Maybe now sex is cut off because how you've been acting. There's still some form of consequence. But what I'm saying is we value society's
okay, the attitude.
compromise.
I can see what you're saying. The
Yeah, it's
person now
always
they
a
walking
consequence.
around with an attitude because yeah.
It's all type of consequences. So we value compromising things that I'm not going to say it's forced on you because you still have the freedom of choice versus someone that you love and see every day, or just even at the job. You will be willing to compromise because that's a paycheck. It's your livelihood. It's how you're going to eat and survive. But in relationships, even in friendships, even with family members, whatever, we don't see that as if we don't compromise, there may be a consequence.
Yes, but is it healthy to compromise with your children?
Yes,
Like, so you saying they should have their own opinion and do and
they
like
definitely should have their
negotiate
own
and go
opinion.
negotiate what they're gonna do? Like, hey, I'm going to this party and just like, hey, here's the pros and cons and
Okay. It depends. Everything is age appropriate. Everything is developmentally right. Where are they at in terms of their developmental stage, right? I do think there's compromise with kids. I don't think it's just my way or no way. Certain things it is just my way or no way. But I also think to say should they have an opinion? Yes, they're a human. Everybody has an opinion. And I think when you silence your kids and not allow them to speak, you're doing them an injustice because what you're teaching them is to be silent and not to speak up. So I don't have a problem with a kid basically telling me their opinion in a respectful manner because what that is teaching them is healthy communication and be able to advocate for themselves when they need to. However, yes, I do think you should compromise with your kids. There's a lot of stuff I don't want to do, but I do it because it's not just about me, they're a person too. And how do I teach them to make a person or have boundaries for a person to validate them and show them that they're important if their parents doesn't?
now what about do you do it for the whole like all the kids or do each kid get their own individual
It's
rights?
based on what do you mean?
Because like your kids, oh, you let whoop de whoop do
No, if it's
this.
a rule,
You're
it's a
like,
rule
hold
across
on,
the board.
well,
If it's a
you're not
rule,
responsible.
listen,
You know what I'm saying?
if it's a rule across the board.
I
However,
disagree on that
listen,
because
you're
each
not
kid
listening to
is
what
an
I'm saying. So
individual.
no, so if there's a curfew, it's a curfew across the board. If it's chores across the board. That's what I'm saying. You get into technical, certain stuff, right? Certain things are developmental, age appropriate. And then some things is compromise based on personality. Like my youngest, people think she's mouthy, but she could be a great lawyer, and the stuff she says really makes sense. So people probably be looking like, dang, she let her say, yeah, I let her voice what she needs to say until she's going too far and it gets disrespectful. Okay, like let me reel you back in, but I'm gonna allow her to advocate and speak for herself. So, but if another kid is doing that, and I know that's not your personality, and I know you're just being disrespectful, yeah, I'm gonna shut it down. So it's based on personality. You know when your kid is being disrespectful, when they're really just trying to get you to understand what they're saying. You know all
Yes.
your kids. So yeah, it's different things and ways you're gonna compromise with your kids. Like I let my daughter play her music sometimes. Do I really want to hear it? No, but she probably don't want to hear mine either. That's a compromise. But I want her to feel validated and feel like she's just as important as I am in our relationship.
Good point. That was a good example of letting her play the music in the car because my rule, the driver choose the music.
But then you're not compromising because she'll never be the driver.
Exactly. But right now we got a moment.
So that's manipulation.
Phone.
Man, I'm not gonna not be on my phone, even if we was videoing this, because I got business to take care of. And I could take care of multiple types of business.
No, you can't.
Like as long as I'm not drafting or writing something.
You just gave us a moment.
As long,
10 seconds of silence.
It needed, but look, business don't stop. And nothing is going. It's not going to be neglected.
So you're not compromising for the podcast.
I'm compromising. I'm on the podcast because I got a million things to do right now, and I stopped to do this. The podcast is
not giving your full attention.
It has my undivided attention.
No, that message on your phone was just.
It was. I needed to take care of that real quick, and it's done. And you took away from it.
This is why the people say leave the phones off the set.
Listen, let me ask y'all this. We only. Did we miss a beat? We only missed a beat because he brought it up. Had he not said anything, you wouldn't have even known.
Moment of silence.
It wasn't an awkward moment for me
because you wasn't paying attention. No shit, you didn't hear it.
I
need to get the cricket sound in here.
That's where the compromise comes in, because basically, if you in teamwork, I'm handling business on my phone or my laptop, fill in the gap. I would. Teamwork makes the dream work.
So compromising, y'all. What's other areas of compromising where people?
You're speaking away from the mic.
People need to compromise that. Thank you for letting me put my lips on the mic.
I didn't say put your lips on the mic. I said you're speaking away from the mic.
So we just said the kids, the job, dating, I guess, relationships. What other areas of even with religion? Let's go with compromising. You think a person could compromise their religion? Like, is that just doomed from the beginning? Y'all should have set that out from.
I'm not compromising my faith.
Like, say one person is a Christian, the other one is the atheist.
Never gonna work. Like, it's never gonna work. It's not gonna work. I'm telling you.
So it's no compromising in religion.
I think compromising is like, well, I don't even think this is compromising. I just think this is a freedom of choice. Like, for years I went to church, you didn't go. I don't think that's a compromise. I think
I did compromise, and I went a couple of times.
But listen, I did compromise. But listen, I don't ever want there. I say this all the time. This is the dumbest thing ever to me, right? I don't believe in going to church. So I had a conversation with somebody, and I'm gonna tell y'all two different conversations. The last conversation, somebody had told me that basically they don't wear sandals to church. So I'm like, you go with your outfit and look, I don't wear. I wasn't raised like that. I'm like, you wasn't raised.
Jesus wore sandals.
You wasn't raised to wear sandals to church. I don't think God cares about what's on your feet, but he does care about how the word impacts you when you leave a different person. Then I had another conversation with someone, and they were saying, their daughter doesn't like going to church, yada, yada, yada. And I said, is it about image? Her coming to church, you about image? Because if she can watch service online at home and receive a message, am I going to bring her here to show that she's here? Or would I rather have her watch the message at home and know she leaves with something? Because faith is an individual thing. I don't feel like dragging your mate or your kids to church is a compromise. I just want to make sure, even if you watch it at home, wherever you watch it, you're getting, because you can go to the church. For me to be like, I want you to go to church, that to me, that's for show. That's just like, I just wanted you to be seen here with me, like we're going as a family. But if you're leaving and not changing or getting anything, what is the point? So I don't see the compromise in that. I feel like that's an individual choice. Now, compromise comes in where it's like, hey, you know, I'm an atheist and we gonna be worshiping the devil here. Yeah, I can't say what you would do or what the next person would do, but for me, I'm never gonna compromise my faith.
And I think that would just be that will trickle down with everything in the household. You know what I'm saying? As relationship wise, because I think everything, a lot of your decisions become off of.
But a divided household can't stand, and that's what you're gonna have.
It
it's gonna be
down
chaos.
To everything, yes.
It's gonna be chaos.
So if somebody's in that situation, they should run.
I'm not gonna tell you what you should do. It's just not my situation. I wouldn't recommend it because it's like, okay, you worshiping God and calling in the Holy Spirit, and they playing with witchcraft and bringing in the devil. Like, who's reigning in that house? Because both of them can't reside. Somebody got to go. Amen. There is no compromise with God because it's either God is here or he's not.
So there's no compromising with God, guys.
There's no compromise.
Stop riding the gate.
Yeah, there's no compromise.
Pick a side. Pick a game.
So yeah, in a sense like that. But you know, everybody's different. I can only say what works for me. I won't. But hey, whatever you do, whatever floats your boat, go for it.
Yeah, so that's a deal breaker for some, and some is not a deal breaker because they're not that spiritual, and when they get into things and find out later, chaos.
Yeah, but I think compromising is a healthy thing. You got to think like this: from the time you're a kid, you're being taught to compromise. Share that toy, you know. Help clean up. You're being, or you should be taught.
No, I don't think that's compromise. That's being told what to do. You know what I'm saying? Because you ain't have the freedom of choice. I think compromise, you have the freedom of choice.
But you're saying, okay, but let me rephrase it and reword it. When you're teaching your kids, like, hey, is it nice to share? Do you want to share with Bobby?
Now that's giving them freedom of choice.
Yeah, but when you're rephrasing it as in a question, and I think kids, believe it or not, are more willing to do things when you ask them versus tell them from a young age, teaching them that they have a choice. I'll never forget, shout out to Kovacs. He was my professor at APU in my graduate program. But anyways, so he basically was over, like, he specialized in kids and adolescents. And I remember him saying, if you want to get your kids to eat vegetables, and this is what he was teaching us to teach our clients, don't give them one vegetable, give them multiple and ask them which one do they want. And I was like, that's a good idea, because in their mind, you're giving them the freedom of choice. It's not just saying, hey, eat this, but no, which one do you want?
Yeah, that makes sense.
And so but some parents will say, no, they just need to do what I say. No, teach them healthy, critical thinking skills to problem solve, to have the ability to choose for themselves. Because what happens if you're always making decisions for them, do what I told you to do. First of all, God doesn't say, do what I told you to do. He gives you freedom of choice. Either you do it, you don't, it's a consequence, but he still allows you to do whatever you want to do. But when you do that with a kid, you're teaching them that they have the freedom of choice. And as a parent, if you always say, hey, you have to do this, when they get around their friends and in relationships, what you think is going to happen? They're going to feel like they have to do what their friends or their mate is saying, because you taught them that. You never gave them the opportunity to choose.
Deep. Like, yeah, I guess because they would be
they're fearful to choose. Yeah,
somebody boss them
because
around.
Parents don't understand what we do and how our mold our kids have effects later on. Because if I'm never given an opportunity to have a voice and have an opinion or choose, I'm gonna be like that in my relationships and with my friends. So when you see people say, did you ever have a voice? No, I didn't. I didn't learn to speak for myself. And so now as an adult, it's hard for me to speak for myself because my parent never did it. And that's what people are going to be dealing with. And it's like, because that's what you taught them. So when people say like, oh, my kids don't have an opinion, my kids do have an opinion. As long as you tell me in a respectful way, I'm going to listen to what you say. I'm going to compromise with my kids. I'm not going to always make them do what I want to do, but I'm going to do the things that they want to do.
Ooh, coin on that one. You get a coin on that one. And also let your spouse have their own opinion too, because I see a lot of people trying to keep their spouse from being their self. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't want you doing this. I don't want you doing that. You embarrassing me and all that type
If
of
you're
shit.
embarrassing
Like,
your spouse, you shouldn't be with them.
you know what I'm saying? So it's like a lot of times people want to keep their spouse in a box and don't let them be their self. And I think that build up a lot of envy. You know what I'm saying?
Well, I don't think it's not letting your spouse be yourself. I think that's a controlled relationship. To me, the person that doesn't want their spouse to be them, you're just controlling. I mean, there's no other way to put it.
True.
Because how could you manage another adult? It's things I don't like that you do, but I can't control you and I don't try to control you because you're a grown man. You know what I mean? Because if it was based on a lot of stuff that I thought, even with the stuff you post, it wouldn't happen. But I don't control you. You're your own individual. And I don't think you should ever be in a position to try to
But
control someone.
but some people try to be slight because it's not the out front don't do this. It's now you have an attitude. I think that's the other way of people trying to control somebody. It's like
Nah, this
now
depends.
I can't. I'm over here laughing and having a good time. Then you look over and you see your spouse over there with a fucking attitude. That's a way of trying to control your spouse. You know what I'm saying? You letting them know you enjoying yourself too much. Calm the fuck down. You know what I'm saying? You don't get what I'm saying?
I get what you're saying, but it's twofold.
Like, what's the two for? What's the other
So
side?
it could be manipulation if you know that when you do those type of mannerisms, that it's going to make your mate shut down. So you're doing it to manipulate and control. But then on the other hand, that person does have the right to express their emotion. So if they do have an attitude, they have that right. If they're angry about something, that's their own emotion. They're not wrong for their emotion. Now, if you're using emotional manipulation to get someone to do what you want them to do, like let's say, for example, if you try to cry and guilt trip somebody, yeah, you're using emotions to manipulate. So if they're consciously like, yeah, I'm going to do this because I know he's going to stop doing what I'm doing or she's going to stop, then you're manipulating. But if a person is genuinely upset, they have the right to be genuinely upset.
Well, we ain't talking about genuinely upset. We talking about manipulation, control
So
of
that's somebody that's trying to control through
people.
emotions.
Yeah, there you go. Controlling through emotions. You know what I'm saying? Because some people just not gonna outright say stop doing that. They're
But
going.
you
They're
can't
going.
tell somebody to stop
You
doing that.
can't.
I
But
think
a
you can
lot
have
of
a
people
conversation
do
about it.
that. You know what I'm saying? It's a lot of relationships, bad relationships that
I've
they
never seen
do
somebody say stop
emotional.
do that.
Yeah, they ain't gonna say stop doing that. They're gonna do emotional control.
So you've
You
seen
know what I'm saying?
somebody
Yes,
in a relationship
I
tell their
seen
mate don't do that?
not tell their mate don't do that. They get an attitude and start, you know what I'm saying? Now they got an attitude. Now their mate look like damn.
Oh yeah,
Let
yeah.
me
Okay,
like
I've seen
okay,
that.
let me start
Or
let
no,
me
like if you would have cut. See, that's why I don't like dysfunctional couples. I don't like dysfunctional couples because it's like they put a vibe or a
the
damper on a
energy. And
yeah.
as a your spouse, you pick up on your spouse's energy or your
So
partner's
yeah,
energy, and now you feel like damn, this shit, you know what
I
I'm saying? It
kind of
takes
know
the
who you
whole
talking
vibe, it
about
takes
too.
the whole vibe away of like, damn,
So
you
they
know what I'm
don't
saying?
say verbally because I'm
No,
like, you heard
yeah.
somebody say stop, don't do that. But no, yeah, I have been in situations where you out with some people and then their mate, it just creates a domino effect of what they dealing with. Now it's coming like, yeah, y'all do your own thing.
Yeah,
Go.
so that's the what you call it, the
It's
emotional
emotional
control.
manipulation.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? So
But also, I think, but see, but this is the thing, and this is why I always tell people you need to have rules in a relationship. There's unspoken rules that, I mean, you probably know you don't cheat, or some people have an open relationship. I don't know. But I think there should always be a conversation about rules. People like, I remember telling somebody this. They was like, we grown. We don't have rules. I said, everything has a rule. I said, when you move into an apartment, there's rules. When you go into the grocery store, there's rules. When you get in your car, there's rules. Every relationship has rules, whether it's spoken or unspoken. Because there's certain things, if you do, there's a consequence. So that therefore that means there's a rule. The problem
or a
is
mutual agreement. That's because the
it's
rule
a
a rule
rule.
is still is kind of like it's force. Mutual agreement is when both parties agree
No,
on
but
this, you know what I'm
no,
saying?
listen, there are rules in a relationship.
Yes, but the word I want to say I don't want to say rules. I say mutual agreement because that rule could change it if you with somebody else different. You
Okay.
know what I'm saying? Because now it's a mutual agreement between two
Listen,
parties of
the
we going
definition of a rule: one of a set of explicit or understood regulations are principles governing conduct within a particular activity or sphere. It's a rule. So basically, somebody's rule may be if you cheat, I'm done. So whether you want to rephrase it because you don't like the way it sounds, and this is what I had to tell some clients, they didn't like the way it sounded. I'm like, but it doesn't matter how it sounds. It's still a rule. People's boundaries are their rules. That's their manual. No matter how you phrase it, it's a rule. And people need to have conversations in relationships about their rules. We say expectations.
Mutual agreements.
These are my expectations, but what I'm really saying, these are my rules and my manual to me. When you when you drive a car, these are the rules. This is the manual. These are the expectations.
But in order for that rule to work,
with a job,
you got to have a mutual agreement.
Because everything, my rules don't have to be a mutual agreement. For example,
I said for that relationship to work, we need to have a mutual agreement. Yeah, you gonna have your rules, but I don't give a fuck about your rules. The relationship is not gonna work.
Listen to what I'm saying.
So that's why I said, in order for the relationship to work, you got to have a mutual agreement.
You have to have a mutual agreement. But even in a mutual agreement, somebody's rules are still their rules.
Yes, but when it comes to mutual agreement, we can negotiate some of your rules.
Some rules can't be negotiated.
Some relationships,
having a kid outside the marriage cannot be negotiated for me.
Well, some rule, and that's what I'm saying. Some things could be mutual agreement of negotiating the rules, because you have set rules. Some of them you could bend and twist. Like, because if we talk like, okay,
some people
you can stay out to 1 o'clock. I'm cool with that. You know what I'm saying?
In the left field. My point is, expectations, boundaries, rules, interchangeably the same exact thing.
So it's no compromising with rules.
It depends. There could be a compromise with rules, but some rules can't be compromised. It depends on the person. For example, some expectations can be compromised, but some expectations cannot. Some mutual agreements can bend a little, but some of them cannot. That's why I say it's all used interchangeably. It's the same thing.
Yeah, I see. So you need a handbook because shit getting complicated.
How's it getting complicated? I mean,
you know what I'm saying? Because if certain rules could be compromised, some can't. And
for example,
damn, I need a handbook.
For example,
you know what I'm saying?
No, for example, rules change. Who you are when you meet her is not the same person you met 10 years from now. So, for example, at 20 years old, you may have
You be conditioned as a matter of fact. Let's do a prime example because this is a perfect. This is a perfect way. We've been together since we was young. Never opened a car door for her at all. Now all of a sudden, if we in our 40s, she want me to open the car. She want me to open the car door. Like what?
At 13,
you know what I'm saying? This is like 13, you changing. You trying to change the game.
Listen, you know what I'm saying? Exactly, because I'm not 15.
But
I'm not
that's
20.
and this is where I'm saying it got to be a mutual agreement because you set a rule. Doesn't mean, you know what I'm saying? It's going to be gold. Like, hold on, we got to discuss this and plan because it's not natural for me to go walk around and open your door. It's not that easy.
But it needs to become natural. But this is the thing. It does need to be a mutual understanding. But some things, even if I've been with you that long, and this is why you always need to evolve and grow. Some stuff, if you said I'm not doing, I'm not staying. And that's what I'm saying. So this is the thing. You got to understand this. What you may have been able to do when I was 20, you can't do now that I'm 41. And that things change, things evolve. So yes, okay, maybe opening the door. Okay, I probably wouldn't leave you for that, even though I do. And I'm saying I do want my door open. But some things at 41, it's like, no, that's not going to work for me.
And see, and I told her I don't want to hold hands. That's teenager shit. I want to put my arm out, the gentleman hold, and you hold my arm and shit. You know what I'm saying? And what you said, that's what you say that was? I said, no, that's the gentleman way. The woman hold on to her man. Like grown people don't walk around holding hands.
Yes, they do.
You know what I'm saying? You got to be that gentleman. I don't even know the name of it. I got to Google that or something. And the man stick his arm out and she hold on to it.
This is the point. There's always going to be compromise in relationships. And even how he's talking about opening the door and how he wants to be held when we're out in public instead of hands. The point is, you should always be evolving and growing, whether it's at work, whether it's with your kids, with your mate, with your friends, because you got to understand who that person was. They may not be today. And that's okay. You should change. You should elevate. You should want different things.
Yes. But the change, you can't, when you changing and growing over time, you just can't just force the other person to change with you. You got to let them change at
No,
their own
everybody has their
pace.
journey. But listen to what I'm saying. Every person has their journey, right? And something as simple as opening the door. That's not a big request.
It's not, but it's a big request to me.
Listen.
It's difficult.
Why is it difficult to open the door? Please
Because
explain.
it's not natural for me. It's natural for some guys. You know what I'm saying? Because that was demanded at the beginning. So it's already, this is like me going all the way around to open your car doors just don't make sense to me.
Okay.
Get your ass out the car. This is why. Now, if you don't got hands and arms,
But this is the
I could
thing.
see me doing that.
Okay,
You know what I'm
but
saying?
this is
But
the thing.
it's that's what I'm saying. It's difficult for me. You know what I'm saying? So,
But this is the thing. Working out is difficult. Everything is difficult when you first start. So the excuse of it, if it's difficult, is just an excuse. Because as you continue to do it, it's like, dang, this little, small, very small gesture to do for my wife. If this is gonna
but
put a
that's what
smile
I'm
on her
saying.
face, why not do it?
You look at it small. I'm looking at it as the Grand Canyon.
This
You
is-
know what I'm saying? It's like, and you
Oh, my
can't take how you look
goodness.
at something and how the next
Okay,
person
let me
look
ask
at
you.
something.
That's true.
You know what I'm
That's
saying?
true. But in this situation, you really look at it like the Grand Canyon.
Yes, because
okay,
it's not.
so now I'm gonna look at a lot of stuff.
It's not
like
natural
the Grand
for
Canyon.
me. You know what I'm saying? That's what I'm saying. It's not natural for me to go go out my way, go around and open your door from getting out at McDonald's. Don't worry, y'all. She's reading email right now.
Another important email. But my point is, if your mate has changed,
I say patience.
No, I'm not expecting for you. This was just the conversation we recently have. I think I told you this like 2 months ago.
Mm-hmm.
So this is something that I don't expect like every time. Because his thing was like, no, the only time I'm going to open the door is when we're going out and you're dressed up. I don't care if I'm in like workout clothes. We at Target. Oh, my door open.
And see,
so,
I don't believe in that. Yeah, we had a nice restaurant. You dressed up, suited and booted. Like, yeah, let me open.
It's
door.
not about the location
what
for
I'm
me.
saying?
The location or how I'm dressed.
And I don't know. I don't think it's the status too. Like you jumping out of Honda and me going around opening.
I don't
your
have
door,
a Honda,
like,
but if I
you know what
did
I'm
have a
saying?
Honda, yes,
It
I want
just
my
feel
door.
like
No.
I don't know. I don't know.
Okay,
I might
so
be the only one thinking that
you're
way.
being
I'm
superficial.
Yes, I'm
because
very because
it's not about
certain
oh
acts
my
seem
God.
like it's at certain levels.
Forget it.
You know what I'm saying?
Put it like this.
That's what society
Okay.
put it at. That's what I'm saying.
Put it like this. It's a small gesture. To me, it's not about how you feel, the location. It's about something that I want.
And the funny thing is, she demands me open the door when we go to the buildings
I
and
do.
stuff. And the funny thing, she get away with it because she would just stand there and wait, like motherfucker, open
But
the
you've
door.
been opening doors, so
You know
this
what
is
I'm
not something new. Like you've always
Yes,
opened
I have
the
no
doors.
problem opening the door if I'm there first. But if you there first,
I'm not opening the
you
door.
gonna stand there and just look
I
at the
will.
door like,
I'm not opening
okay,
the door.
like
I'm not.
But the thing is, you hold your ground on that one.
I do.
Now, would you hold your ground on me opening that car door? Would you stand at that car door? And you know me, I get in that car and leave your ass. You know what I'm saying? Because you never stood at that car door and waited for me to open that.
Because this is something that is new. You've always opened doors. I've always expected you to open doors. So I've never opened the door. But now, yes, I expect for you. Let's get off of this because this is going on and on. Either you're gonna step to the occasion or you're not. This is the thing. Let me tell you something. Something that's so small to one person is so big to another. You need to gauge how serious it is in a relationship because it could be a deal breaker.
And
or
this
not.
is where compromise come in. That's just a prime example of compromising.
Well, you haven't compromised with the car door yet.
I mean, you ain't went nowhere. You ain't been dressed.
I don't have to be dressed to get my
This
car
is
door
your
open.
opinion. Look at, matter of fact, Google that. Ways of open. Why should a man open a car door for a lady?
Listen.
Going out to an event, dressed nice.
Listen.
Not in your workout uniform. Like,
my lifestyle is not based on what somebody else does.
You just Google definitions, several other terms.
A definition. But why I want and do something is not predicted based on what I don't care what whoever else is doing. I'm saying what I want.
I will open your car door one day. It's on my bucket list.
Okay.
Got you.
But just know, when something is continuously being said and it's not of importance.
Let some other nigga come open your car door.
Hey.
The valet do it all the time. Like, nigga, she can open her door. What you doing? Trying to get her used to some shit. Oh, ballet be having me rolling. They run around and get your door. But see, that's even the other thing. They doing it for a tip. The thing is, a lot of people do things for the reward.
Exactly. You get a
Exactly.
reward.
So when you first dating somebody and the woman demands you to open her car door because he wants the reward at the end. A lot of
Who's having
people,
sex for a car door open? I mean, come on.
because that impresses a woman.
Nah,
Oh, he
that's not
opened my
impressive.
car door. He's such a gentleman.
If you
You know what I'm
impressed by
saying? A
that,
lot of people impressed by little shit, and but
if
the
you
reason why
impressed by
people
that,
do shit is for the reward. You know what I'm saying? And so when you started off on that foot, of course they're gonna keep on doing it because they know that the reward. They
if
got the
you
reward.
impressed by a door open, you need to level up.
Hey, some people just get what they get. You know.
But compromise, because you done ran with this whole door open theme.
Okay, compromising. Go ahead. What else we could compromise on?
I think you can compromise with like your neighbors.
Like what?
You know, some people play that mariachi music.
Oh, you know what irritates me? When your neighbors park in front of your house.
Why?
Like you got the whole street on your side, but you park across the street
Our
in front of
neighbors
my house.
do
Like,
that, and I don't know
God
why they
damn
do
it.
that. And nobody
Like-
parks on the street, and they'll park right in. I don't care because I don't park on the street. But I don't know why they do
Yeah,
that.
I'm like,
Maybe they want to see their car if they look out their window on the other side of the street.
yeah. So it's like, so what? Compromise with your neighbors?
No, I
on-
do think you should even compromise with your neighbors and like understanding and being respectful, like of noise, different things. You know, nobody trips on our street. Everybody kind of do their own thing. But
So you saying ask for their permission if we're gonna have a party and blast the music, or compromising on what type of music you play with cuss words and shit like that?
no, I'm not gonna say all that because I'm not gonna be in a house and that's apartment type stuff. I'm in a house. I'm gonna do whatever I want to do. But what I'm saying is, like, let's say for example, if you do have to park, if you have an event and you parking all in front of your neighbors, I think you should basically have the common courtesy to have a mutual understanding with your neighbors.
I don't know, because the street parking is public parking.
I mean, that's a bit extreme. Not necessarily parking, but you know, some stuff people get carried away, and it's like they disrespect their neighbors. You know what I mean? Like even the kids, like we don't care, like how they had their kids all in our yard playing. Like that should have been a
Yeah.
conversation. You shouldn't just let your kids be in somebody else's yard, even though I don't care. But what if I was the type of person that cared?
True.
That should have been a conversation before you just let them running through the sprinklers, got their bikes up and down the driveway. I only know because I see it on the camera, but I don't care. But what if I was that type of neighbor that cared?
If he was a Karen.
If I was a Karen, I was thinking that.
Yeah, she didn't want to say it. She was a Karen. She trying to be political correct.
But I'm not going to even say a person is wrong for that. You don't know what I have in my grass. You
No,
don't even
you
know
don't
what I'm
know-
trying to do
yeah,
in my
you don't-
yard.
my
You
phone
don't
keep
know-
going off
yeah,
'cause you in my
You don't know
driveway,
that I
yeah.
probably want my ring to keep going because your
Yeah.
kids is up and down my driveway. Like you need to have that's a compromise. You know, you don't just do, and that's what I'm saying. People don't understand that compromise goes outside of your household. It's with other people too.
Yeah, but that's not a mutual agreement.
If you knock on my door and we
That's
have a
just- I think
conversation,
that's
that is a
pos-
mutual
oh, okay,
agreement.
once you-
That's what
if
I'm
you-
saying.
you
Have a
conversation
conversation
with
with me.
them, okay.
You know, the time we like, who in our, we just see this grown woman all in our yard. Come to find out her kids is running through our sprinklers.
But I'll say with compromising coming in a situation like that. Okay, say that kids is riding up and down your driveway. So you go to their door, be like, hey, your kids is up and down my driveway. So they be like, well, okay, we gonna stop them from going up your driveway
I don't think
during nighttime. They're gonna ride it, do it on in the
No,
morning.
I don't think I should go to your house because my kids are not at your house.
But they don't know their kids are doing it.
Yes, they do.
You don't know. You
In
assume.
this situation, they know. In this specific situation, they know. And then, for example, like they'll put out the thing,
slow
slow down the kids playing. But the way they put it though is like they got the whole street blocked. Like, okay, I understand you have kids, but they'll have it like at both ends of the streets because their kids is playing. Like, I think that should be a conversation.
I ain't worried about that.
I don't care.
I still speed down.
No, you don't. I don't care, but I'm saying like the way they put the cones is almost like you basically not even respecting the fact that how I get my car out my driveway is what I'm saying. You just because you got kids, you can put your
Yeah.
cones all around down the block.
You sound like a Karen right now, baby.
Whatever.
You over here sounding like it's
He can
okay.
never just let me be
It's
great. I
it's the
promise.
cones. It's safety. I don't want to come outside and see a ran over kid. You know what I'm saying? If it prevent, because apparently it's a reason why they put the corners, because people be speeding around this corner. I understand that. You know what I'm saying? It's a
All down the block
yes,
though.
it's a safety thing, baby. You can't be a
No.
Karen on a safety for the kids, baby. Come on now, like,
He try to be funny. He can't let me.
it's safety.
I don't care. I've never said anything. My point is, it should be
No,
a compromise.
it should be a conversation too, because that it's a I
You
want to
can't
be
even get it out.
because
It's
I don't.
a
I want to say the correct term because people get upset. It was a mentally challenged kid.
I think he
He's
has
grown.
autism.
He's like what? He's in his 20s.
No, he's not, because he gets off the school bus.
The nigga looked like a grown man to me. So basically, he was in my yard, in my front yard. My ring got the going off. You know what I'm saying? I just see some big black dude all up in my
Why
door
gotta be a big black dude?
because that's what he was. You know what I'm
You
saying?
being
Doing some weird
stereotypical.
stuff and almost got himself hurt. They should be
Yeah,
let your neighbors
So
know, like, hold
as
on, my
neighbors,
son's
yeah,
like,
I think
you know what I'm
I
saying?
think that should be like a conversation. And then my husband's like, who's all about to go get something and go outside because he's at the door and doing all this crazy stuff. I'm like, hey, that's the kid down the street. I think he's autistic. But even that is like a compromise, and like, hey, and people be like, you should know, but you may not know. Like my husband didn't know. I knew
Yeah, it's
because
early
I've
in the
seen him
morning. Shit.
getting off the bus, and I would see him in the yard every morning doing, because I think sometimes he leaves and they're probably unaware that he leaves and he's in other people's yard. But I do think that should be a conversation of a compromise, like, hey, sometimes my son may be in your yard, this, and this. And I just think, honestly, being in the mental health field, if you have a kid or a family member like that, period, I think you should let your neighbors know. Because where we used to live, our neighbor's daughter was autistic too. And when she would get out, I would let you know, like, let me not say get out, it sound like somebody escaping. But when she would leave the house, and a lot of times they wouldn't know, I would take her back to the house or basically let them know. And that was only because I'm in the field that I'm in, and I actually have a nephew that's autistic. So I knew. But everybody looking at that person is not going to know.
Yes.
And I do think you should make your neighbors aware, like, hey, if you see my kid, just so it could be like, a village taking care of one, that everybody is on the same page when this kid leaves the home.
She keeps saying kid. It's a grown man.
I'm not just saying in that situation, family member, kid, whatever, that everybody looks out for, everyone, loved ones on the
be
street.
aware. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? It's just be aware because, like you said, you waking up early in the morning, your camera's going off, and you see somebody all doing some weird shit. It's like shit happens. So be aware. Don't worry, y'all. She in another email again. Go ahead, finish your email. I won't hold it down. You know what I'm saying?
You're
Read your
annoying.
email.
You're
you know?
annoying.
Because it's just people just hear the awkward signs. Like, dang, Saniyyah been quiet for like 30 seconds.
Look, I got business to take care of, and I'm not
good.
going to be apologetic for that. I'm sorry.
Good. So basically, compromising could be a great thing for any situation of relationship, friendship, business, children. You just gotta know how to compromise and know when to compromise. Because all the times you don't have to compromise. You know what I'm saying? You could hold your ground and be like, no, I don't want to do that.
No,
I
I don't think.
compromised 10 times this week. I'm not compromising on that. You know what I'm
Well,
saying?
and that's what I'm saying. Rules, expectation, compromising. Everything is not going to be a compromise. Just like we was talking about faith. My faith is, I'm not going to You was like, oh, you can't play praise and worship. You can't pray. You can't listen to a sermon. Dude, we not going to work. Like, I'm not going to compromise that. It's just certain things. That's what I'm saying. Some things you're going to compromise, but some things people, like somebody may say, you don't open my door. That's a deal breaker. You got to know who you're dealing with. You got to understand, well, is this that much that I won't open the door if it's a deal breaker? Will I just be willing to let it go?
Yeah, but I thought we left the door thing.
I'm just bringing it back up
Because
to let you know.
I'm just letting people know that you don't have to always compromise. You know what I'm saying?
You don't
It's a
always-
healthy balance.
No,
you know what I'm saying?
okay, in a relationship, let me get serious now. But if you see us out and he don't open my door, make sure, you yell out something to him. But anyways, so no, it is healthy to be able to tell somebody no without a consequence. Like, I don't have to do something that you asked me to do, because I think this is emotional manipulation. When someone asks you a question, hey, can I borrow $500? hey, can you go get that for me? And you say no and they have an attitude, that's 100% emotional manipulation, because the can you was a question. So when you say can you're giving me the opportunity
Say
to say
no.
yes or no. So if I say no, it shouldn't come with an attitude, because it's my right to say no. So when you see people and a person tells them no, they don't want to do something and they have an attitude, then I feel like it's on you, because you can't get mad unless you're always doing for this somebody. If you're always doing something for someone else and then when it's asked they can never do it, then it's like, dang, I'm doing all this stuff and you can never do anything for me. But when you genuinely ask someone a question and they don't want to do it, I think in a healthy relationship, that person has the right to say no. If I ask my kids something, there's a difference between when I'm asking and I'm telling them. But if I ask you to do something and you say no, they have that right. And you can't get mad because they say no, because an unhealthy relationship
But
is when a person feel like they have to do it because you're going to have an
but
attitude.
even if you did a lot of things for me, I still have the right to say
No, no, no,
no.
no, no.
Like
That's not
shit.
what I'm
What was
saying. I'm
your
saying
angle
I'm
for?
saying when the relationship is one-sided. Let's say like if I'm always doing something for you, but you can never do something for me, then it's like you have to reevaluate. Like, wait a minute, every time I don't ever have a problem with doing something for you, but it seems like every time I ask you to do something, it's an issue.
But because it's levels to that too. Because I could say like say a person always want to borrow sugar. Let me borrow your sugar. Or let me
You
borrow your milk.
you thinking too deep.
No, but I'm saying this is because sometimes some people act extreme.
I'm talking
You
about
know
a
what I'm saying?
one-sided relationship.
But
One
this is
side, one side,
this
one-sided.
is what I'm saying is this person asks for a lot of petty shit,
Not
and then you
extreme.
be
I'm
like,
saying on the
hey,
same level.
let me let
I'm
me
saying on the
let me
same
borrow
level.
your house.
I'm
Like
saying
nigga, what?
I'm
Like
people have asked to use
people
the house
ask
before.
extremes. You know what I'm saying? They get mad because you say no. Well, I did this, I did that, I did
I'm
this.
not talking about that. I'm talking about a one-sided relationship. Obviously, if somebody's asking extreme stuff, yes, you could say no. But what I'm saying is kind of like you always looking out and being there for someone, but they're never showing up for you.
But did it ask?
Forget it.
You know what I'm saying? Because even though you that type of person that be there for people, because that's who you are. Did that person
I'm
ask? You know what I'm
specifically
saying?
referring to a one-sided relationship. You keep taking it away
But I
from
don't know because
one-sided.
I ain't in no one-sided relationship.
You would
Don't
never
experience. I know
be in a one-sided
shit.
relationship because that's not how your mindset is made up. But there's many people outside of you that are in one-sided relationships where they go over and beyond for people and a person does not reciprocate it. So I'm saying in that situation
But some people that go
of
over beyond, they got this. They want to be that helping hand because they that's who they
I'm
are.
not talking about that. I'm
Well,
talking
shit.
you keep bringing other examples
Because you
to
keep
oppose
saying
what I'm saying.
one-sided relationship, but sometimes that one-sided person always want to be the helper.
Listen, I'm giving examples of healthy and unhealthy. I'm only referring to a one-sided relationship. You're not talking
Okay, well,
about
keep referring to your one-sided
goodness.
relationship. I don't refer to the side of the relationship where people always doing stuff for somebody else without them even asking, but then get mad when they need something and they not there for them because you the helper. If you're the helper and always want to be, hey, that person look like he's hungry. Here's a sandwich. They didn't ask you for a sandwich, but now when you need something, you expect that person, hey,
That's not what we're
I
talking
gave you a
about, though.
sandwich. I need some bread over here. You know what I'm saying? That's what I'm saying.
Okay, we're saying two
It's
different
like
things is what I keep
some
telling you.
people is they want to be the helper without even somebody asking, but
But
you expecting something in return down the line.
but their motives are off. Then that's not what I'm talking about. But okay, to wrap this up, because I do have a meeting. So to wrap this up,
She's trying to shut me up because my point was made. I get a coin on that.
no, we were saying two different things, and you kept going. I'm saying in a one-sided relationship that has nothing to do.
So y'all,
with
we gonna wrap
religion.
this up because
Don't cut
apparently
me off.
Saniyyah got a whole lot of more important shit to do instead of bless y'all with this game. So y'all can find me on all social medias. I'm GrindFace.
Don't cut me off like
They
that.
can find you where?
Don't do that.
You better come on. I control the switch over here where they can find you.
You control nothing but your mouth. They can find me on everything Saniyyah Mayo. Oh, and hopefully, because my 2 episodes that he's producing, lighting was terrible. Hopefully, this next one, the lighting will be great. So y'all make sure y'all tune in and tap in with Talk with Saniyyah. That's my other podcast.
Okay, exit. Job. Exit the
Oh,
show.
oh,
No,
oh.
oh goodness, man, unprofessional.
Until next time, continue to break cycles.